long before foreign sails ever cut the waters of the western seas, long before the names of these mountains were spoken in another tongue. There was a people who lived cradled in the arms of the Andes. They called themselves the children of the sun. They walked among valleys carved by rivers as old as the stars, and they listened to the whispers of the stone giants, the guardians of creation. High above the clouds, the Andes rose like the bones of the earth itself. Snow crowned the peaks, feeding veins of silver water that wound down into fertile valleys. In those valleys, people shaped their lives from stone, soil, and sky. Terraces clung to the mountainsides like great stairways to heaven. Here the people grew maize golden as sunlight, potatoes hidden like treasures beneath the earth, and quinoa, tiny seeds that carried strength for the body and spirit. At dawn, smoke curled from clay hearths. The air carried the scent of roasted maize, earthy and warm. Children's laughter echoed between stone walls, while elders sat weaving cloth dyed with the colors of earth and sky, reds of cochineal, blues of indigo, golds of marigold. Every thread was prayer, every color a story, for the people of the Andes did not see themselves apart from the world. They were threads in a vast weaving held together by spirits, ancestors, and the gods themselves. Before there were men of flesh and blood, before crops grew in terraces and fires lit the night, the earth was shaped by beings of stone. The elders told it so. In the first dawn of time, the Creator, Viracocha, emerged from the sacred waters of Lake Titicaca. From the foam of the lake, he called forth the giants, figures of living rock. These giants were massive, their shadows stretching across valleys, their steps shaking the mountains, their voices rumbling like thunder. They carved rivers with their hands, lifted mountains from the flat earth, and laid the foundations for all that was to come. But the giants grew arrogant. They forgot the hand that shaped them. They turned their strength against one another, and their pride weighed heavier than the stones from which they were made. And so, Viracocha cast them down. Some were swallowed by the mountains, some were turned once more into cold, lifeless stone, left standing in silence as reminders of what came before. Even today, high in the Andes, massive stones lie scattered, their shapes worn by wind and time, yet whispering of the age when the giants walked. The Inca people lived with this story always at the edge of memory. To them, every stone carried a spirit. Every mountain was an Apu, a sacred guardian watching over the villages. The rivers sang with the voices of ancestors, and the fields answered prayers with their harvest. At sunrise, farmers lifted their hands to Inti, the sun. His golden light was life itself, warming the terraces, guiding the seasons, ripening the maize. At night, they turned their eyes to Mama Kila, the moon, whose silver glow blessed lovers and guided the planting cycles. In the heart of the village, life pulsed like the beat of a drum. Men worked the fields, their tools made of stone and bronze, their sweat mingling with soil that gave them bread. Women spun wool from llamas and alpacas, their hands quick as hummingbirds, weaving patterns that told stories of gods, stars, and rivers. Children learned by listening. To the stories of elders by firelight, to the rustle of wind carrying omens from the mountains, to the silence that spoke of the spirits unseen. But life in the Andes was not without hardship. The mountains could be generous, but they could also be cruel. Storms swept down from the peaks, lightning splitting the sky, thunder rolling like 1,000 drums. At times, the earth trembled beneath their feet. Pachamama, the Earth Mother, shifting in her restless sleep. Crops might fail, frost biting before the harvest. Children's bellies might grow thin, and yet the people endured. They endured with songs sung in chorus at the planting season. They endured with festivals where drums echoed across valleys, where dancers in feathered headdresses spun like the wind. They endured with offerings, coca leaves laid upon the earth, chicha poured to honor the ancestors, small carved figurines buried beneath the soil to call for blessings. Their resilience was not born of defiance against nature, but of harmony with it. They did not conquer the mountains. They learned to live within their rhythm, to bend with the wind, to wait for the sun to return. And always, in the quiet spaces between seasons, the people remembered the stone giants. When a strange boulder jutted from the earth, shaped like a shoulder, a face, a hand, they would say, "There lies one of the first ones. There sleeps the giant who shaped this land. Children would climb upon the stone and press their ears against it, swearing they could hear the slow heartbeat of the ancient being inside. Elders would smile and remind them, "The stones are not dead. They are our ancestors, our teachers, our warnings. Treat them with respect, or their silence will turn against you." For the Andean people, life was never lived alone. The Ilu, the community, was the center of existence. Every harvest was shared, every hardship endured together. If one family's field failed, others would bring maize and potatoes to their door. If a roof collapsed, neighbors gathered with reed and straw to rebuild it by sundown. To live was to give, and to give was to honor the gods. Festivals were the breath of the community. In Cusco, at the grand feast of Inti, the people gathered in their thousands. The scent of roasted llama meat rose into the air. Gold ornaments caught the sun, dazzling like fire. Priests raised their arms to the heavens, chanting prayers that seemed to make the very mountains tremble. In that moment, the people did not feel small beneath the sky. They felt woven into it, part of a fabric stretching from the beating heart of the earth to the farthest stars above. So the story of the stone giants lived on, not merely as myth, but as a memory carved into the land itself. The Andes, with their jagged peaks and silent stones, are more than mountains. They are archives of creation, a place where the first dawn still lingers in shadow. And the Inca, children of sun and stone, walked always with the knowledge that they were not the first, nor would they be the last. They were caretakers of a world shaped long ago by giants, a world alive with spirit, a world where every stone, every river, every star told a story worth listening to. And so, when you stand in the Andes and the wind carries voices through the valleys, perhaps you too will hear them. The stone giants, the first children of creation, still walking in silence, watching, waiting, remembering.